Now that you're familiar with temperament traits, I'm going to have you turn to handout 7.1.2 in your yellow workbook and complete the scale for each of your children using different colors for each child. As you can see, you're going to rate each of your children using the same scale that you use to rate yourselves. You're going to go through each temperament trait, starting with first response and continuing down the list and marking them on the spectrum of where you feel like they fall at whatever age they're at right now. You can refer back to your temperament rating scale for the definitions and examples if you need a reminder of what each of these means. Go ahead, take a second, and mark each of your children on this scale. As you can see, I use two different colors, blue and orange, to represent the two different children that I have. So, for example, your children may not fall at the exact same place, so this can be helpful to differentiate and compare how similar or different your children are. You can pause the video, take a second, and fill this out for each of your kids. After you've completed that, the next page I'm going to have you turn to is in your yellow workbook on page 7.1.3. This page is titled Encouraging Natural Abilities and New Skills. This is a reference page that focuses on each of the temperaments and highlights the strengths and skills to teach for those temperaments. I'm going to highlight a few of them, and then you can pause the video and look at specific ones that resonate with you or with your children. For example, if we go down to the second one that's entitled Low Mood, we can see that some of the strengths of a child that might have a low mood temperament include that they're thinking things through. They may make a good scientist, lawyer, or reporter someday. Those are great statements to tell your kids. Kids always feel encouraged and excited to know that you believe in them and that you see strengths and you see things that they're really good at. You can also tell them, I see you have thought a lot about this. Thank you for your suggestions. As always, with every temperament, there's skills that you can work on and begin to teach them. For low mood, some of these include practice saying two good things about something for every negative thing that your child says. And then your child can also practice telling what she liked about her day and learning to use I statements so that others don't think he is blaming them. Another one we could focus on could be high distractibility on the second page over. Some strengths for this one include noticing things that other people miss. You could tell your child, you don't want to miss anything, or you can really see a lot of details. Some skills to teach include learning to focus by finding a place where there aren't as many things going on, asking adults, especially teachers, for help finding a quieter place to study or work, learning to look the person who is speaking to him in the eye so he can focus on what they're saying, and learning to ask questions if she is confused about the direction someone has given her. Take a second to pause this video and find where your children fall on the temperament rating scale and read some strengths that they have and some skills that you could be teaching them. Next, I'm going to have you turn in your yellow workbook to handout 7.1.4. This is titled The Temperament Trait Plan. What we're going to do on this page is choose one child and one specific temperament trait and outline a plan to practice teaching some skills to that child. What you can do first is write your child's name at the top and the specific temperament trait that you want to work on. Your child probably has many different temperament traits, and you may have more than one child. For the purpose of this assignment, you can just select one child and one specific trait to focus on. The example I used is that the trait I'm going to focus on is high activity. On number 2, where it says strengths of this trait, I listed athletic, energetic, able to accomplish many things. You can go ahead and fill in the trait that you've chosen and highlight some strengths of that specific trait. For number 3, positive comments, I wrote, you have lots of energy and many athletic abilities. For number 4, potential weakness, you could say, may have difficulty sitting still in school and focusing on instructions. Number 5 starts our plan for teaching our child a skill to strengthen this weakness. So you're going to write the idea briefly in a sentence, then write concrete things you would do in a step-by-step plan to teach this skill. So for example, the thing that I might want to focus on is the ability to focus while in class, balanced with knowing themselves well enough to know that they also need exercise and lots of activity to burn off energy to be able to focus. So my goal is for my child to be able to focus when they need to, but also be in tune with their body and recognize when they might need to get up and move around and take a break. The first step I'm going to implement is help the energetic child see the trait as positive. So I'm going to first highlight some of those things that I do see as positive. I'll probably tell them the positive comment that I wrote earlier. Number 2, talk to the child about their need for physical activity. Tune into body and notice when they feel fidgety. So I'm going to sit and have a conversation about them, about things in regards to physical activity. We can kind of highlight things like, sometimes when you start to feel fidgety, you might need to get up and take a break. So I'm going to sit down and set aside some time to really talk my child through what it feels like when they need to get some exercise and what they can do to be able to have an outlet for that energy that they have. Number 3, I'm going to teach my child to ask parents or teachers politely if they can take a break or burn some energy and then come back to work. I might teach them to say something like, I'm energetic and it's hard for me to sit still for long periods of time. I work better when I can take exercise breaks. By teaching kids these skills, I'm empowering my child to be able to handle their own situations while still being able to meet their goal. So if I give them a sentence that they can say that they've already practiced, they're much more likely to feel confident and be successful in getting what they need to get their energy out. You can pause this video and fill out the temperament trait plan for one of your children. The last thing we're going to do is wrap up our learning goals for this part of the lesson. My learning goal was, I'd like to learn ways to encourage my challenging child who says no to things before even trying them. How I accomplish this learning goal. I learned that my child may have a low first response. After doing the reading, I discovered that I can call out strengths that she has. I can encourage her by calling out what she does well, like saying, you take time to study a situation. This hopefully will help her to know I value her just the way she is. One skill that I'm going to try to implement or put into practice is that I'm going to practice calling out her strengths and set up her environment to encourage her to try new things as well, such as giving her enough time to warm up to a new idea, person, or situation. Once you've finished the assignments for today, you can go ahead and wrap up your learning goal for this lesson.